the organizers and all of you who are attending this. And I always wonder how and why Ambedkar had chosen to speak only particularly about the lower section conditions in India at London conference. Initially, first time he spoke about India greatly, where Gandhi was not there, he was absent. The second time when Ambedkar attended along with Gandhi, he chose not to talk about India. He chose to talk about only the excluded people in India. The inclusive of education means who are these people excluded? These people are excluded socially, economically and politically, culturally. इसलिए मैं सोच रहा था क्या बात करूं, सब लोग उनका प्रिपरेशन करके आएंगे, बात करेंगे गवर्नमेंट के बारे में, हम सभा देंगे, लेकिन ये नहीं क्या Ambedkar he had an answer on March 12, 1927, where he was addressing to Bombay Legislative Council, where he talked about the primary education, higher education and secondary education and education problems. I want to highlight the preparation and the points which Ambedkar raised there. And before that, I also stick to the point to talk about Dalits and Adivasis in India, because so far I haven't seen any atrocity case for justice in India. So far, no women who are raped, butchered in the villages for small basic needs. Let me say, for water, and roaming in the streets, wearing chappal, keeping ringtone Ambedkar song, wearing t-shirt, riding horse. People got beaten, butchered, killed, and there was no justice till today for the Dalits and Adivasis. That's why I stick to talk about how the Dalits are excluded and what can be done for their betterment, how Ambedkar is answered and how it is relevant for today. Let me read and bear with me for till I finish. Firstly, Ambedkar in the beginning of his speech notes how the education department and the excise department are working in opposite directions. The departments of education wasn't spending enough on the education of Dalit Baujan and Adivasi students. He emphasizes the importance of ensuring the education of the lower classes. On the other hand, he observes that the amount of tax levied from each person is several times what is spent on them by the government. We see same happening today. Since the BJP came to power, the budget allocation for education has progressively gone down. In the year 2014 and 15, it was 1,103 billion. The next year, in 2015 and 16, it was reduced to 996 billions. And the following years, in the 2016 and 17, it was further reduced to 926 billion, and the current year we got a meagre 796 billion. We can expect next year 500 billion, maybe. It doesn't adequately address the needs of pertaining to the education of the millions of the nation. On the other hand, with the imposition of GST, the government has increased tax rates exponentially The increase in tax has not affected the services that the government provided to the own people. This pathetic condition only reflects the profit that goes to the Brahmin Banyan capitalists. The scholarship cuts, fee hike, seat cuts, autonomous papers, etc. have made education increasingly inaccessible to the Dalit, Bahujan and Adivasi students. Second, Ambedkar notes the allocation of a very little percentage of education budget on primary education. The condition continues even today. In states like Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, over 1,000 government schools are shut down in single shot. It is well known fact that the most of the students awaiting the government school education are from lower caste. The deliberate attack of this kind of on the already oppressed classes in sheer Brahminism, and it's not to be tolerated at any level. So thirdly, Ambedkar notes that the huge amount of money is laid to fees. At this point, I wish to quote Ambedkar. I submit, as he said, I submit that this commercialization of education is something which ought to be bought within the reach of everyone. The education department is not a department which can be treated on the quid pro quo. Education ought to be cheapened in all possible ways, and to the greatest extent, I urge the plea because I feel that we are arriving at a stage when the lower orders of society are getting into the higher schools, middle schools and colleges, and the policies of the department, and therefore ought to be made higher education as cheap to the lower classes as it can possibly be made. Not much need to be said after putting this Ambedkar what he spoke. But in this aspect, nothing but the fee hikes in all the central universities, taking from IITs, STIs, FTII, SRTI, and several central governments and state governments, local governments, where we cannot offer the higher education in the future. Fourthly, he notes that disappropriation of in the nature of progress made by the various classes. He observed that the number of people who came from education is more from upper caste, who happen to be of the lower population in this nation. The lower caste, despite being the largest section of the country, have managed to every members in the university. The condition has aggraved. Today, it's nothing else. With constant attack of reservation policy and privatization, in which the reservation is not even applicable, the chance of the oppressed classes gaining access to education is reduced gravely. The fifth point, he knows that living condition of many from the lower caste are not conducive for the education. Hence, urges the government to spend more on increasing the number and quality of hostels. Today, the condition of the welfare hostel, making a joke or Ambedkar vision of hostel as a space helpful for the students' intellectual activity. The recent protests in central universities of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, among others, prove that infrastructures and facilities provided by the university administration are gravely inadequate. Even in Hyderabad Central University, where I come from, we are fighting for the basic needs. After BJP came in power, no hostel is constructed, nor they bought any new centers, nor they constructed anything apart from ruining the existing policies. Apart from this, Ambedkar presentation during the amendments to the Bombay University Act, Bombay Primary Education Act, make it very clear how Ambedkar was deeply invested in providing inclusive education to the Indian population. He wasn't thinking just in terms of what taught in school, but several other things including the budget allocation, scholarship, examination system, teachers and students ratio, in hierarchy between universities and colleges, the moral elements of the education and so on. It is evident that Ambedkar vision for education is inclusive in two ways. What is included in education and education institutions? Second, who is included as the beneficiary of the state-sponsored education? The same continues holds true today in times of Brahmin Baniya coalition with the white supremacy capitalists who continue to exploit the lowest strata of the society, coming mostly from non-white race and lower caste. The pursuit of the education in the spirit of Ambedkar vision demands we collectively fight for inclusivity in what and who is taught in our education institution. And education is that inclusive in these two senses ensures that we have an India that also inclusive. Otherwise, the notion and the nation of the India will continue include only upper caste people and violate and systematically excluded the large Bahujan population. Student continues to protest for this kind of inclusive India. A fight shall not be easily put down. Like my dear friend Rohit said, and there are so many people across the country like simply committing suicides in schools, in upper medium schools and higher education. There are severely people are killing themselves because they are helpless by themselves. Like he was also among that Rohit. He was our friend. He quotes that never was a man treated as a mine, a glorious thing made up of stardust. It's a Rohit and Babasaheb vision of treating human being as a glorious thing made up of stardust that we all continue to fight today for the inclusive education. Thank you so much.